it appears that we somehow have managed to bug out the blueprint. I think the game recognizes something in the spot now where, well, you know, there is not actually anything there, so... Ooh! Okay. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode on Good Company with me, Spacefish, where in the last episode we have actually for the first time ever reached a net profit of $85,000. An absolute insane number, I would say, which really honestly rewarded all of the hard work from the last few episodes, getting a perfect calculator underway here, going through all this insane amount of Tetris, and, you know, doing a bunch of optimizations, fixing a bunch of things, just cumulatively leading at the very end of the day in that very, very impressive figure that made me quite happy indeed. And, well, we're hoping to continue this very task today, as we do now have another one in our hands. We have, at the end of the last episode, discovered that our drone is pretty well outdated. If you look at the market overview here, we're in the 4th phase currently, only 0.2 market appeal left without discounts, and well, you know that there is kind of also another market phase coming, so it is very well timed to go ahead and start moving on in terms of drones. And we've already started designing something in the last episode. Today we will go and finish that product design, and we will get set on moving in market phases, getting a new product ready, getting everything set up, and well, you know, hopefully, getting everything running smoothly, getting our first drones sold out, and then increasing our profit ever more. Because, you know, today, honestly, we are really handing off a lot of that profit here to the market. 36% of a discount is something that's, you know, not great. We kind of want to avoid that, and, you know, with the next market phase pushing this even further, we really need to dearly move on here, and there's a lot of extra money to be made, so that should hopefully be awesome, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But before we get started on this task, if you're new around here, and if you do happen to enjoy this episode, please make sure to go ahead and smash that subscribe button right down below. That would really mean the absolute world to me. Slowly but surely, we're really inching towards 1,000 subscribers, but there's just still so many people to go. So if you could just hit that button real quick, that would mean the absolute world to me, and thank you so much if you did that. Without further ado though, let's go and hop into the blueprint designer. This here, the big brother, is pretty much what we ended up with at the end of the last episode. But looking at things, I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with this design thus far. Because what you do have to keep in mind is that we do currently have a market appeal here of 3.2 stars, which is not great, is not terrible, but, you know, I would argue is quite reasonable. The thing is, though, we do need to actually move on another market phase before we actually go ahead and push that one out the gates. Currently, we can't really measure it. So I think what we're going to have to do now is that we actually go ahead and move this on a market phase. We're going to have to try and stay around potential sales a week of like 19 maybe, and 13.24. We'll just keep that price in mind. I hope we can just give enough of a discount to the point where people actually still buy it, because market appeal is literally going to be a useless level. I don't know if 0.0 is possible, but quite possibly that could happen. We are going to go for it anyway, so because we need to measure the market appeal of our new design, and I do feel that this current one that we have is probably going to go down to like 2 or something, and at that point I don't really feel it's something that we should go for. We should probably strive to push that one a bit further, but the thing is, the values that the market expects at this next market phase we won't really get to see when we go to it. So let's go and hit that progress phase button, and negative market appeal. That is possible? I have never seen negative market appeal before. That is absolutely insane. I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's hope that we can push the sales hard enough to at least meet our target of like 19. And, you know, at the same time. Oh, yeah, we can do that, I guess. We can even make a tad bit more money like this, which is insane. 19 potential sales, I think, is fine looking at these past units sold figures. That should be a very good number. And we get like nearly $100 more. So, you know, quite fine by me. And now the best part really is that we do get to see what people expect. And I guess one of the main parts here is that we are really far behind with our brightness sensor. And I was kind of, you know, if you remember last episode, really wondering how that level of brightness sensor is still acceptable. And I think we've got our answer at our hands here. Mobility, you know, still being totally fine, which is quite nice. I think, I'm not even sure we changed anything about that in the design. Maybe if we go here and bring up our info browser, we can just quickly go over the changes again that we made in comparison in the last episode. So yeah, you can see it's still the same medium stepper motor. Mobility is totally fine, but I guess, you know, at the end of the day, it's not what consumers focus on. It is more the storage, which we're really behind on now, and it is the sensors. So, I mean, it's good to know. I mean, technically, you know, battery life would be quite nice as well. We'll have to see on that, because, you know, we're making things a lot more complicated that way. We need to see about space and all. But brightness sensors, first and foremost, kind of aren't useful anymore. And I was really wondering how we can just copy things over and end up with a useful product, to be honest. Here we've got our answer, though. We can't. So we will have to change that. And we need to go for something that I guess is somewhat still doable for us in terms of difficulty, because we don't have that much space down there. That's actually something I'm worried about with some of these products. I'm not sure we can make all of them perfect products at the end of the day, because I'm actually not sure we really have enough money to do it for all of them. Well, we've got a proximity sensor here, which is at 4.0. It's crazy. And this thing here is also at 4.0. Where's the difference then? Oh, so this one's just like a little upgrade of the brightness sensor, basically. Just need a little bit of... I mean, this one's, honestly speaking, quite easily doable for us, because it's just a small change to our current production line. The low-res camera, on the other hand side, would be a bit of a change. And I mean, it doesn't have any benefits in terms of sensor points. Fragility is higher. So is the ecological footprint, to be honest. Why would I ever want this? I mean, the market price of the part is higher. I'm not sure that changes anything about the max price in this. This is 400 of a max price, and this gets us a... Ooh. Well, space is a bit of an issue, I guess, but we can still do it. It gets us the same potential price. Less drawbacks. I guess it's a bit of a space thing at the end of the day, but it also really is easier to manufacture for us, as I just had said. So, I kind of feel like this is the way to go. Kind of really also want to Tetris this around a bit more, though. I'm not allowed to put that up there. Why? Am I, like, blind? Why are we not allowed to put that up there? Can anyone tell me right now? Oh my god, I think we just bugged out the blueprint. Oh no. Okay, we're not going to save that. We're going to try and edit again. What just happened? Okay. It appears that we somehow have managed to bug out the blueprint. I think the game recognizes something in the spot now where, well, you know, there is not actually anything there, so... Ooh! Okay. You know, that's probably something I got certainly fixed now in the newer versions of the game, but, interesting one. Okay, well, we fixed it somehow. I still don't quite know how I did it, but, you know, that means we can Tetris these things a bit closer together. You can actually Tetris this thing in here, which means we've got some nice amounts of space left down there, so kind of the preferable solution, I guess. But this is a nice change, I would say. You know, good bump and sensor quality. Not actually too sure how much that just affected. Feels like it was very little. I think 0.7 points. Okay, I mean, it's better. Still not great, to be honest. So we've got data storage. We've got battery life. Let's go and look at the two and see where we can make the more valuable improvement in terms of points for ideally the least amount of production disruption and, like, you know, need for additional tables and upgrades and stuff, because that's really the thing that we're limited the most by here, I feel, is space. So we need to try and save that as much as possible right now. So over here, for the memory bank, we would need integrated circuit, electronic parts, circuit boards. Which doesn't feel like it's really more complicated than the register array. But did we not have... Yeah, see, this is a bit of the point here. The memory bank was never really an improvement to the register array, so that's an issue. We technically do have something in research here still, which could bring salvation. This thing here, oh, we don't even see what it does yet, do we? Maybe we should wait for that for a quick second. In terms of the memory capacity, I think we're going to wait for that before we make our final choice. Wait. Stop leaving your freaking workstation. No! Okay, we hired and fired someone literally within like 2 seconds. Poor guy. I would like, though... Wasn't there usually like a move to button or something? I don't know. But I would like to actually go ahead and do a bit of research with my main character. You know, don't need to waste any time here. Let's go and get that maxed out. Start the analysis. We do also have like tons of spare parts here, but it's really mostly nothing that we can research off of, unfortunately. So, could probably get like a little pallet standing somewhere and use it for sales eventually. But cool. That's that done. We will just quickly wait for this research to be done, which, you know, these research labs should be done in like 2 macroseconds, basically. This lady right here is Ada. Oh, boy. Murdy! Murdy! Oh, no! Camera? Camera! Don't do it. I think Murdy has got a little bit of an issue here at her hands. I guess we can maybe solve that if she, like, feels like moving away from there when we actually move this out. So, you know. Would you? Would you, like, go away? No, she's just chilling there. I mean, the thing is, we can also not really fire her right now. Why can we not fire her? She's literally stuck there. I mean, even if we remove the thing, she says no path to target. What is her task even? She doesn't even have a workplace. What target? She's just hibernating. Did we fire her at some point? Now she's just eternally stuck in this factory or something? Oh, that is so mean. Murty! What did they do to you? She's literally become a science experiment, I feel. Oh, no. That is so sad. 82.2 grand, though, last week's profit. Absolutely beautiful. Doing absolutely awesome. The research project is through, though, so that is very, very nice indeed. I think we're literally just going to go memory matrix and just push this through real quick before we go for other topics, so let's do that. But let us also now have a look at the blueprint designer so that we can... No, camera, not again. Stop. I don't want to be abducted every 2 seconds. You freaking... Thank you. God, how many more times will we get abducted by the camera this episode? Nobody knows. That said, the important part here now being to determine if this is actually an improvement. I really hope it is. Oh, boy. I mean, it's not really more complicated, I guess. Technically speaking, I mean, the small register bank doesn't need any pre-produced stuff. So, you know, if we just replace the capacities that we have currently got on plastic parts, should be fine, I guess? You know, metal and integrated circuits, we're currently using plastic and plastic parts, and plastic and integrated circuits, rather, say. Metal or plastic doesn't matter that much, and replacing plastic parts by a small register bank isn't terrible, at least. And that's data storage of 3.0, at the very least, which is better. Still not great, but better. Oh, and that's the best part. It doesn't take any more space in the design. So I think that's the way to go. Definite improvement right there. That brings us to 2.6. Still not really that happy with that, I have to say. But I wonder, with the space that we have, just how much more we can realistically push this stuff. I'm really, really starting to wonder here. I mean, let's go over the stuff, right? Mobility is gonna, you know, we're gonna keep it that way, you know. Why change anything if it's like 0.5 points? No way in the world. Then we've got sensors, which, you know, I would say we're solid enough on. Data storage is kinda... I don't feel we have the capacity to just double our production there. And then battery life, so like we would kind of need to double either production. You know, battery life. I guess the only option would be like a quadruple battery stack maybe. We would kind of not technically have to double the production there, but we would certainly need like, I guess, another 2 tables. I'm not sure where we're currently. We don't even have any battery production yet. That's the issue. I mean, there's already a lot of stuff coming in there on top of that. You know, the double battery stack stuff. I feel like we're already going to need 4 tables for that, which is already going to be quite the task to stuff in. And if we went for this, it would be 6 tables. For the other stuff, so I mean, you've got to see this, right? We don't really have that much space. Like, you know, these, I think, doable. Because, I mean, if you look at the blueprint, well, not on the blueprint design, but if you look at this, right? If we look at the, we don't have the, no, we do have the blueprint in here. If we look at this, these, well, I mean, basically, I mean, even that's already going to be an issue, to be honest. I mean, the metal sundries, we can squeeze in like 1 table, maybe here-ish. And then we'll need like 2 of these electronics workbenches here in the corner, and then we can somehow make it work. So, you know, proximity sensors, somewhat still doable. But then we've got this space planned out, right? Then we go on needing the battery stacks, which are already kind of really hardcore squeezed in up there. The alternative being we've got a bit of space down here. And maybe we really need to build, like, is there any access space? Yeah, we can go through this door, basically. So, like, we could just outsource some bits, and we wouldn't even use conveyors. Like, just have this delivery area here, have, like, a little separate logistics zone, make things, and then move them over with, like, a courier guy, girl, whoever, right? I guess that's an option. It's, like, the only option I kind of have in mind currently. Because, apart from all this, we need to beef up the storage part of things. Like, I mean, these guys are basically now going to swap to the... Oh no, actually we don't need any extra space right there. Okay. So, either we double this entire production, which is in the top 6 tables, or we... Okay, I think the easier way is to just double battery stacks. And maybe we just do the battery stuff right here in order to save space. Now, we do need to still be a bit careful. But I guess generally speaking, most of the production of this is going to happen here between these 2 buildings. So we should have some extra space remaining right here that we can kind of use up. And I think batteries is the easier deal. Because as I said, going from a double battery, well, you know, going from a double battery stack to a quadruple battery stack is literally adding on 2 tables, right? That 2 extra battery stacks. The other thing is adding 6. So, bit better in terms of space. You know, we could do 2 double battery stacks, but that would be just way more. We would need 8 tables, which means we would use more space, which is not the way to go. And, you know, on top of that, it also kind of costs more to produce, because, you know, we'll have more employees running around in circles. This one is more money efficient. That said, you know, we do actually get a good 1.2 points more in terms of battery life from the other approach. So the question becomes, is it worth it? I mean, this gives us 3.6, this gives us 4.8 in terms of battery life. Let's see where we end up with the market appeal, right? This one's a 2.6. If we go for a quadruple... Oh. See, that's already an... Well, it's not really an issue. That gets us to 3.1, which is really not that much more. But, well, you know, I mean, if you look at it from a price perspective, it's like 3,440 versus like 3,000 3,320, which is only like $120 per unit, but if you calculate in that we sell out like, currently I think it's like, was it 19 units a week? You know, that shoots up quite quickly. That's like $2,200 that we can have right there extra, which is quite quickly a whole different ballpark. But the question is, if we do 2 double battery stacks, well, the thing is, I can't just like mirror them. So can we fit 2 double battery stacks? I think the answer must probably be no. Unless we find some like a really creative way of squeezing things in here. But I feel like we won't. And you can see that we don't like find that space. I think, honestly speaking, unless we want to like redesign the case, or like that, it's probably not going to happen. So let us go and do the quadruple battery stack approach at the very least. You know, the one thing that we can maybe look at, honestly speaking, is actually doing the memory array, like instead of the battery stuff. But we don't want to perfect it too much right now as well. You kind of got to keep in mind that the drone market is still going to move by like another 3 market phases. So if we do things a bit too crazily, at the end of the day, we'll have to come back and change it anyway. So we don't want to be going too crazily right now. That gets a 3.2. I mean, the other was a 3.1. But the other is also way more cost efficient. We need way less in terms of tables. Well, maybe not cost efficient because we do need the logistics personnel, but space efficient. It's definitely more space efficient. So let me go and grab the quadruple battery, stack them, and can squeeze it in right there. You know, if we ever do want to double that memory array stuff, you know, for future improvements of the product without changing the case, which, you know, probably we will have to upgrade it for a perfect one, but that way, I think we're in a pretty good space with the design. 3.1 of a market appeal, still not crazy great, but if you look at the market overview, we are currently going for a 3.6. So it's literally going to be next to no discount of any at all. Well, why are we going for a 3.6? Now I'm at 21. Weren't we just at 19 potential sales a week there? How did that improve? I am a bit confused, I have to say. So yeah, even better, because well, we literally need a 3.3. So it's going to be like a few percent in discount, not much, and we're going to be at a way better price than we are today. As you can see, I mean, we've got a potential max price of $3,400. At the discount that we need to run, we'll probably make like $3,200 per drone. Which, with the few add-ons that we're going to do, it's still like we're going to heavily come out on top there in terms of profitability. So that sounds good. We're going to do it that way. I think that's all quite fine and fancy and beautiful. This is our big brother. Looking at the design once more, quite nice and funky. Multi-blink is what we're going for. Let's finish that design. And with that said, then it's finally time to start implementing on this very beautiful product. And I think we're going to start out here, just to get the basics going pretty much for ourselves. We'll just literally quickly slap down all the chemistry tables that we need. So quadruple battery stacks means, first things first, probably, that we do want to align on the production frequency that we have here. The old one actually only took 0.6 days, so that's actually an interesting factor. Because we will technically probably still keep chunking out materials at the same rate. Even with all the improvements, I don't really assume that things should be taking much longer. You can see right here, it's still 0.6 days for the proximity sensors. If we look around up here, I mean, the cases are going to be the same. This all is going to be the same in terms of the motors. And then if we look at the memory array, it is still, well, it is 0.6 days currently, I guess, on the standard electronics workbench, and these are going to be 0.6 days because we're going to do them on an advanced electronics workbench. So the frequency in all these is going to be the same, which means that we probably are going to require an on-top assembly table to keep up with how much input materials or how many input materials we have. So we're already going to go place that out there, just so we remember to do that the next time around. If I ever forget about that, please go screaming at me, because we definitely need to put that one down. And then we need to make sure that we've got enough materials going that we can make, like, well, 2 drones every 0.6 days. So that's the idea. If we go and quickly place a chemistry table right here, we can go and make that quadruple battery stack. So you can see it's 1 day for an assembly frequency, and you can see also that the battery stacks are made in 0.6 days. So we may actually need some on-top tables here compared to what I thought we did, and we may not even be that much more cost efficient than I thought. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, are 3 going to be enough? Not quite to hit the 0.6 days, but I think it's... We will have to see. If it becomes a huge bottleneck, we may be doing a bit more. But with this, what we should then be able to do is go add 4 of these, yeah? And these, like, definitely will support, like, 4 of these will support the required amount of quadruple battery stacks. The only thing that we will have to see about is if 4 of these do also... No, the only thing that we have to see about is if 3 of these are enough, or if we go and place a 4th one of those, at which point we'll have a bit of an overcapacity in terms of production, but we'll support the full 0.6 days. So that's kind of a bit of a deal. I feel that at the end we may even end up with 6 tables here, with 4 tables here. And then you can see that it's not that cost efficient as we thought, because we do need all the logistics personnel on top. It's still 8 tables on top, and this would have been 6 tables on top, and we actually made the wrong choice. Which happens. You know, mistakes happen. But that's totally fine. The thing that we now need to check is what additional things we need. You can see right here that the one thing that we need to make sure we have is plastic parts, you know, for every, I guess it's for every day per table. Yeah, so it should be really easily doable with just 1 table right here. We're just going to go get the best table that we can, honestly. The precision workbench is usually quite useful in regards to that. You can see right here 10 plastic parts, and that's like every 0.4 days. So that's easily going to cover all of our needs in this area from here on out. But that is at least the basic amount of tables that we need. Next episode, I think we're going to go get back. We're going to get them all laid out, you know, try and save as much space here as we can. We'll go and add shelves, most certainly, to these tables, and we'll go and add like 1 or 2 logistics people. We're going to go get a courier going over to this main part of the production, and then we will go and quickly tinker with the proximity sensor. We will go and upgrade this part right here with the memory units, and we will go and hire someone for that assembly table, link that all up, and then we should be good to go and making those fancy big brother drones. And hopefully, just hopefully, we may even manage to finally knock down the 100k profit mark with that newly improved product. So fingers crossed on that. For today though, I'm going to end this episode off right here. I hope you all very much enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, please make sure to go ahead and smash that like button right down below for the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider subscribing right down below, as well as hitting that bell icon in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. But with all those things out of the way, as usual, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next episode very, very soon. Ciao.